Hey, what's going on? I'm Apprentice Damon, and in today's video, we're going to do a review on Nicolet's Natural Spring Water. Alright, so let's get this poured up. This is another one I happened to grab when I was out in Wisconsin, Chicago, one of those areas. And I think this is also one that someone asked me to test. So I was like, alright, let me go ahead and grab it. And this continues my hotel series. Yes, I'm still stuck here and it's been thunderstorming and everything. And we're going to be comparing it to this electrolyzed reduced water. I'm just making a mess. Alright, so we'll do that. Hopefully this is flat enough. This all makes sense. It's kind of crooked. But let's get it. The first test we're going to do is on antioxidants, and this is the most important test of all the tests that we're doing today. It's mainly because these things called free radicals. They're in the air, they're in the foods that we eat, they hang out underneath beds and stuff, and what they do is they come into the body and they start taking electrons from our healthy cells. That creates oxidation and inflammation when that happens, and that's linked to every single health disease known to man. Alright, so how do we test this to see if what we're consuming is an antioxidant or if it's oxidizing us, right? We're going to use this meter here from Pinpoint, okay? When we turn it on and we put the wand in the beverage, it's going to let us know based on the number we see. If we see a positive number, that means that the beverage is oxidizing us, create more sickness and dis-ease in the body, according to Pinpoint. If we see a negative number, that means the beverage is a strong antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-aging water, according to Pinpoint. So, let's see what happens here with this Nicolet's Natural Spring Water. Let's see what we get. What are we seeing? Alright, we're seeing a positive 236. Alright, so that means, according to Pinpoint, that this is oxidizing. And let's see how it compares to the electrolyzed reduced water. Alright, see that dash? Alright, we are getting a negative 740 and it's still going down. Very, very strong antioxidant rich water. And just to give you some perspective, an orange is about negative 50. So this is very strong compared to oranges, right? So there you have it. There goes the first test. Pinpoint is saying that this is oxidizing. If you want to learn more about this, I have a video, maybe this way, that talks all about why I say this is the number one test. It deep dives into why this test is so important and how it affects your health. So check that out if you want to learn more. In the meantime, let's jump into our next test. Alright, our second test is all about alkalinity. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take these pH drops from Ion Faucet and we're going to put them into both of the beverages. If we see a red or orange or yellow, that means it's acidic. And if we see a blue, purple, or dark purple, that means it's alkaline. Green is neutral. Alright, so let's see what we get with the spring water from Nicolet's. Man, I must have picked some boring waters. I was expecting some of these alkaline, or not alkaline, these spring waters to show up as super alkaline. But during this journey here, they have been neutral. So that's showing up neutral, and the electrolyzed reduced water is showing up a dark alkaline, right? And there's nothing too special about it. It just says bottled in Chippewa Falls as natural spring water. That's it. So there you have it. I'm not going to do any other tests for that. But if you want to learn more about pH, and you're someone who's like, alright, why do they drink alkaline waters? What does that mean? What does it mean when they say that alkaline water is bad for you? All that stuff is shared in this video somewhere around me called The Truth About pH. Check that out. Share it if you're someone who cares about pH in any way. You're going to absolutely love it. Alright? In the meantime, let's jump into our next test. Alright, on to our third test. This one I like to call superior hydration. And mainly we want to get hydrated at a cellular level. Okay, that's really what it boils down to. when we're able to do that, we're actually bringing in minerals and nutrients to our cells to fire up the get through the mitochondria, fire up that ATP, and then we also get rid of waste, and it actually helps with the detox process and all that. So it plays a vital role to ensure that the water is actually hydrating us and not just sitting in our stomach. Okay, so the test I'm going to do for this, just an example, is I'm going to make tea. All right, and we're going to do it with the cold waters. Yes, I am crazy. So let's grab some tea bags. Oh, I thought I grabbed two. We're putting them both in each of the cups. We're going to fill these with water. And that tea bag is going to represent us dehydrated. And we're going to see if we get the right water, if it's the right size, to go through and make us some tea. And we're going to do the same thing here with the electrolyzed reduced water. Try to make sure these are the same height. Essentially, we're going to give it both of these 10 dunks, alright? So, let's get going. Let's see what happens. Up. And let's go. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And as you can see, the electrolyzed reduced water started getting dark immediately, while this Nicolet's natural spring water is a little bit, it's happening, but nowhere near as dark as, maybe you can see it better. Like this is dark and this is a lot lighter, right? And this one kind of fell in early, but if I give this a few more dunks, I don't think it's going to change anything, right? So it's starting to get there, right? But it's taking us so much more to get hydrated. But let me try this one more time. And I'm just going to pour the water in and see what happens, because we shouldn't have to jump up and down to get hydrated, right? So let's do this. As you see, we aren't getting anything, right? Barely any tea. See what happens here with the electrolyzed reduced water. And we're getting tea immediately. It's actually darker than the 10 dunks. That's how I see it. Or that is what I'm seeing here. You guys let me know what you're seeing on your end. And so the quality of the water really matters. So if you're someone who drinks coffee, you may not need to do the full scoop. In fact, I have friends who tell me this, right? They're like, man, using a different kind of water, I don't need like the stuff that normally sits at the bottom of the cup. It's not there anymore, right? And so this water has the potential to do that. Because I'm telling you, there's tea in both of these. It's just the wrong water being the vehicle, right? So we're actually able to get the impact and nutrients of the tea or coffee or whatever we're consuming better when we're using the right vehicle, which is the right kind of water, right? So you're probably curious, does he have a video for this? Yes, I do. It is up here in one of these corners. It's called the Magic to the Third Test. It really talks about the science behind this, which is surface tension, and how that plays a role in the quality of the water we're drinking and how it affects our health overall. Check that video out. In the meantime, let's jump to the recap. Alright, we tested Nicolet's natural spring water, brought to us by Milwaukee Brewers, and we have tested it for 3 things. The first one was antioxidants, and we saw that this was oxidizing according to Pinpoint, right? While the electrolyzed reduced water showed up negative, right? It showed up as an antioxidant. The second test we did was on alkalinity, and the drops from ion faucet showed the Milwaukee Brewers natural spring water, Nicolet's, to be neutral. And if you're looking for neutral, that could be a good thing. If you were expecting something higher, maybe not so much, right? And the electrolyzed reduced water showed up around a 9.5. The last test we did was on superior hydration, and when we tried to make tea with both of these waters, we got a little bit out of this, but we got a lot darker water when we used the electrolyzed reduced water. And even when we had this mainly filled with this and we poured it into the glasses, we started to get a bolder, darker water with the electrolytes reduced water, which shows how it is actually able to help bring out the nutrients in those tea bags. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you're curious to learn more about this water here, I have a masterclass that's all about it. It is the first pinned comment below this video, or it's in the description with all the other links to all the other videos that we've shared here today. Alright? Thanks for hanging out with me, stay blessed, and I will see you in the next video.